Many men who have reached the age of 50 or more often think they have seen it all. They believe that if a woman was truly interested in them, they would know it in a heartbeat. They expect attraction to be loud and clear. They imagine a woman would give them a big, obvious compliment, or maybe touch their arm and leave it there for a long time. They might even wait for a very direct invitation that says, "I like you, let us go out sometime." However, the truth is that for most of us who are a bit older and wiser, attraction does not work that way anymore. This is especially true for women who have lived through many years of life. At this stage, most women are not going to walk up to a man and announce how they feel in a loud way. They have learned to be more careful with their hearts. They do not want to put themselves in a spot where they might feel embarrassed or rejected in front of other people. So, instead of being loud, they become quiet and very subtle. They use questions. The tricky part is that these questions do not always sound like a romantic poem. Most of the time, they sound like very normal, everyday talk. A man might hear a question and think it is just a casual chat. He gives a practical, boring answer, and the conversation just keeps moving along. But in that small moment, a special opportunity might have quietly faded away. He walks away thinking they just had a nice, friendly talk. She walks away thinking he either did not care for her or he simply did not notice what she was trying to say. This happens much more than men realize. It is not because these men are not handsome or because they are not brave. It has nothing to do with being too old. It happens because the way people show they like each other changes as the years go by. A young woman in her early 20s might flirt in one way, but a woman in her 40s, 50s, or 60s has a very different style. She is more thoughtful. She is more careful. She is more indirect. She does not always push the door open. She just turns the handle and waits to see if you will notice it and walk through. That is what we are really talking about today. Over the coming discussion, we are going to look closely at the most common questions women ask when they feel a spark but are not quite ready to say it out loud. Once you see the true meaning behind these words, you will start to see chances for connection that were there all along. When you are over 50, finding love or a good connection is not about working harder or trying to be a different person. It is about learning to recognize the kindness and interest that is already sitting right in front of you. This shift in understanding can completely change how you move through the world and how you respond to the people around you. The first question might seem very simple on the outside, but it tells a much bigger story than you might think. A woman might look at you, give you a warm smile, and ask, "How old are you really?" To most men, this just sounds like she is curious about a number. It feels like she is just filling up the quiet time in the conversation. But if you stop and really listen, something much deeper is happening. She already knows you are not a young boy. She is not taking a survey or making a list for a project. What she is really doing is watching how you feel about yourself. She wants to see if you are happy with who you have become, or if you are secretly sad that your younger days are gone. She is listening for how much you believe in yourself, not for a number on a calendar. This is a place where many good men accidentally get in their own way. When they hear this question, they start apologizing for being older. They might make a joke about how their back hurts or how they are over the hill. They laugh at themselves so that nobody else can laugh at them first. The woman might smile back because she is being polite, but the special feeling between them starts to go away. It is not because she hates the number. It is because she can feel that the man is not comfortable with himself. A much better way to answer is to be relaxed and happy with your story. You don't have to be loud or braggy. You just have to show that you have made peace with your life. Another question that can really take a man by surprise is when a woman asks, "Why aren't you married?" This can feel very personal. Some men might even feel like she is judging them or asking them to prove that they are good people. But most of the time, that is not what she is doing at all. When she asks this with a kind look in her eyes, she isn't trying to be a detective looking into your past. She is looking at your life right now. What she is really asking is there enough room in your heart for someone like me? She wants to know if you are ready to care for someone, if your heart is open, and if the things that happened long ago are still making you feel bad today. The question is about marriage on the outside, but on the inside, it is about what is possible for the two of you. This is a moment where many men accidentally close the door to a new friendship or romance. Some men start telling a very long story about every relationship that didn't work out. They talk a lot about their divorce, or how they were hurt, or how they were disappointed. Other men might sound a bit angry and say things like, "Marriage is just a lot of trouble," or "I've learned my lesson and won't do that again." They think they are being honest, but the woman hears something else. She hears a man who is still carrying heavy bags from his past into his present day. A much better way to answer is to stay calm and keep it simple. You do not need to tell your whole life story in one sitting. You don't have to hide anything, but you can show that you have learned your lessons and moved on. You could say something like, "Life took me on a few different paths, but I am still open to meeting the right person." This says so much more than a long explanation ever could. There was once a man at a charity event who met a very nice woman. They spent the whole evening laughing. Near the end, she asked him, "How is it that a man like you isn't married?" He immediately started a very long talk about everything his ex-wife did wrong. She listened and was nice, but the fun and easy feeling they had was gone. Later, he saw that she wasn't looking for a history lesson. She was looking to see if he had a space for a future. There is another question that sounds innocent, but can be very tricky. Do you date younger women? When a man hears this, he often does not know what to say. Some men think it is a compliment to their looks. Others feel like they have to defend themselves. A few men think it is a trap and try to change the subject. But they are missing the real point. The question is rarely about other younger women in the world. It is usually about the one woman standing right in front of him. She is trying to find out if you could ever see someone like her as a real partner. She doesn't want a list of your old girlfriends. She isn't asking you to explain why you like what you like. She is trying to see if the connection you two are sharing is something you would actually be brave enough to follow. This is where men often make a mistake that creates distance. Some men start bragging about young women they have dated, thinking it makes them look like a cool guy. Others say, "No, I'm way too old for that," without realizing that she might be the one who is a little younger and they just accidentally told her she doesn't have a chance. Both of these answers miss what she is really asking. A better way is to talk about the connection between two people, rather than the number of years they have been alive. You could say something kind and true, like, "I care much more about how I get along with someone than how old they are." Or you could say, "To me, things like having a good heart and being able to talk for hours matter much more than a birth year." These kinds of answers keep the conversation going and show that you are a mature man. I heard about a man in a book club who met a woman while they were talking about stories. She asked him if he usually dated younger women. Instead of making it a big debate, he simply said, "I just enjoy spending time with people I really connect with. That is what has always mattered to me." Her smile became much bigger after he said that, because he gave her the answer she was truly hoping for. These questions are often like little invitations wrapped up as curiosity. She isn't worried about other women. She is wondering if you like her. One question that men often overlook is, what kind of woman do you usually go for? Most men hear this and think it is just small talk, like asking about what kind of car you like or where you want to go on vacation. But when things are going well and the conversation feels warm, this question is very deep. She is not just looking for information. She is taking the picture you are painting and seeing if she fits inside of it. She wants to know if the things you love are things she has inside of her. She is trying to decide if she should let herself feel more for you or if she should keep her guard up. This is where many men make a mistake by talking only about how a woman looks. They talk about height, hair color, or how fit someone is. While they think they are being honest, the woman hears a man who only cares about a picture in a magazine. A much better answer focuses on the heart and the mind. You might say, I really like a woman who is kind, someone who is curious about the world, and someone who can laugh and not take things too seriously. Notice how that feels different. You are not describing a look, you are describing a feeling. You are talking about the kind of bond that actually lasts. Sometimes a woman will smile, look right at you, and ask, "Are you always this charming?" This often confuses men. On the outside, it sounds like a joke or a nice compliment. Most men just laugh it off or say thank you and move on. But they are missing a big moment. She is noticing that there is a spark between you. She is giving you a chance to say that you feel it too. This is a moment where the attraction is starting to show itself. She isn't really asking if you are charming. She already thinks you are, or she wouldn't be talking to you. She wants to see if you can stay in that moment with her without running away or making a joke to hide your feelings. Many men feel a little shy when someone is being very nice to them. They try to push the compliment away. They act like they don't deserve it. But when you do that, you might be closing a door she just tried to open. A better way to respond is to be relaxed and confident. You could say, "Only when I am with someone I really enjoy being around." Or you could say, "I think the right person just brings that out in me." You don't have to try to impress her. You just have to stay right there in the moment with her. Another very common question is, why don't you have a girlfriend? It seems like a simple, curious question, but when a woman asks this while she is looking you in the eye and leaning in, there is a lot more going on. She doesn't want to report on your past mistakes. She isn't looking for a list of why your last girlfriend wasn't the right one. She is trying to find out if there is a spot for her in your life right now. She wants to know if you are ready for someone new or if your heart is still stuck in the past. This is where many men accidentally push a woman away. They talk about how hard dating is or how much they love being alone and doing whatever they want. They might tell sad stories about being hurt. Even if these things are true, they send a message that the man is not looking for anyone. Instead of hearing that there is a chance, she hears that the door is locked. A better answer leaves some room for hope. You could say, "I have been busy with work and life, but I am definitely open to meeting the person who is right for me." Or you could say, "I just haven't found that special connection yet." These answers are honest, but they show that your life isn't closed off. Finally, there is the most honest question of all. A woman might look at you, maybe feeling a little bit nervous, and ask, "Would you ever date someone like me?" Many men hear this and start thinking way too much. They wonder if she is just being silly or if she is bored. They miss how much courage it took for her to say those words. Before she asked that, she already spent time thinking about being with you. She has already wondered if you two would be good together. The question is the end of a long thought process. This is why so many chances are lost. A man might feel awkward and give a safe answer or change the subject. He might laugh because he doesn't want to assume she likes him. But by trying to protect himself, he makes her feel like she made a mistake by being honest. She took a risk and she got back a maybe or a no. The best way to answer is to be simple and honest. You don't need a fancy line. You just need to show that you see her. You could say, "If the feeling was right, I definitely would." By now, you can probably see that all of these questions have something in common. Even though they sound different, they are all doing the same thing. One woman asks about age, another about marriage, and another about your type. But they are all trying to get an answer to a question they are not ready to ask out loud yet. Many men make the mistake of thinking these are just questions for information. They answer with their brains, but they miss the feeling in the heart. They hear the words, but they miss the signal. This is how attraction works when we are older. Mature women aren't looking for big, crazy games. They want to feel safe. They want to know that if they show they like you, you will be kind and show you like them back. They don't take huge risks. They take small ones. They ask a little question here or make a little joke there. They are opening a small window to see if you will look through it. When you understand this, everything changes. You stop hearing these questions as just noise. You start seeing them as doors. They are not chances to show off. They are chances to be present and see what is really happening. Attraction after 50 is much quieter. It doesn't have bright lights. It comes through being curious and having good talks. It comes through small moments that might look like just being polite to someone who doesn't know better. And that is why so many men miss out. They are waiting for a giant sign while they ignore the small, beautiful ones right in front of them. The good news is that once you see these signals, you will see a whole new world of connection that was always there. None of the questions we have talked about were really about the words. They were about what was happening underneath the words. When she asks about your age, she wants to see your confidence. When she asks why you aren't married, she is looking for your open heart. When she asks about younger women or if you would date someone like her, she is trying to see if there is a real chance for the two of you. Men often miss this because they only listen with their ears. They hear a question and look for a fast answer. But the real message isn't, give me a number. The message is, tell me where I stand with you. This is very important because attraction gets even more subtle as we get older. Women who have lived a lot of life know how to protect themselves. They have been hurt before, just like you. So they don't just jump in. They check to see if it is safe. They do this by asking small, everyday questions. You don't need any special tricks or secret plans to do well in these moments. You just need to pay attention. You need to slow down and see when a woman is giving you a chance to connect. The men who are the most successful in dating after 50 are not always the ones with the most money or the best hair. They are the men who listen. They are the men who see when a woman is interested and who answer with kindness and strength. If you found this helpful, I encourage you to follow along for more content that will change how you see the world. We want to help you understand the small signals that people send every day. Next time a woman asks you a personal question, don't just rush to give an answer. Stop for a second. Ask yourself what she might really be looking for. Sometimes the question you hear is only a small part of the story she is trying to tell. Your presence, attention, and genuine care are the greatest gifts you can offer to someone who is brave enough to show you they care. And if you have found value in these words, please consider subscribing to our channel and sharing this with others who might need to hear it. Thank you for being here, and we hope to reach 10,000 subscribers with your help. Together, we can help more people understand the beautiful language of subtle attraction and genuine human connection.